Hi, gals and guys. This is the multiplying dividing guided notes for integers and integer operations. So there you go, hand in hand. That's why I just put them in one slide, all right? So in multiplying integers rule, so if the product of two integers with the same sign is positive. So what that means, for example, is the same sign, the product of them, 2 times 3 is still positive 6. Negative 2 times negative 3 is also positive 6. Okay, so when they have the same sign, it's positive. The product of two integers with different signs is negative. So for example, over here, let's use the same numbers, like same type of numbers. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. They are different signs, so it's negative. One thing that you can, this only works for multiplying and dividing of two numbers, okay? This tic-tac-toe board, it's really neat. So it's something that you can do when you're first starting to learn, like deal with this, work with integer operations, and not at all with adding and subtracting. This only works for multiplying and dividing. So create a tic-tac-toe board. Actually, you don't even need to create a tic-tac-toe board. What I tell students is to do is do a positive going diagonal like this. Sorry, I was thinking a second. And then just fill in negatives for the other 6 spots. Because we already know the easy one here is positive times positive is positive. So we're not even including that in our table over here. And how this works is pretend that this red line is where the equal sign is. So positive times a negative is negative. Negative times a positive is negative. Negative times a negative is positive. So like you can really look at this, and this is so easy to draw. Remember how I said just do plus signs diagonally. And if you need to draw a tic-tac-toe board to do it, then go ahead and do it if that helps you organize a little bit better. Just go positive this way, and the rest of them are all negative. In this last column over here, on the right is your actual, like, the product, the equals, the result of it, okay, when you multiply together. Super simple to make. It is something you can keep an eye on when you're doing multiplying and dividing integers. So let's use this and do some problems. So example 1, find the value of each expression. So again, tic-tac-toe board. I'm just going to keep it over here. Whoops, not like that. Diagonal. Negative, 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 negative. So you could just do 5 times 4 is 20. And now just see if it's positive or negative. So you have a positive and a negative integer. You have a positive and a negative. That means it's going to be negative. So this is negative. Next one, just do the numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. Now let's look at the signs. You have a negative times a negative. So this is going to be negative times a negative, which is a positive. So you keep it positive. Now you have 3 numbers over here, so you can take it step by step. What I would just take it step by step. Look at the first 2 and work with those first. So negative 4 times negative 3, that's going to be 12. And you have a negative and a positive, so it's a negative and a positive, which is a negative. And you're multiplying that by negative 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. And a negative times a negative is positive. So this is your answer. D. First 2. 2 times 6 is 12. Negative times a negative and a negative is a positive. So this is going to be positive times the 2, and that is 24 as well. So really taking the rules. This tic-tac-toe board is so useful. You can write it on the top corner of your quiz or your test in the future. It is something that really is helpful with multiplying and dividing integers. How about you pause the video here and do these 4 problems on your own and check to see if your answers match mine. All right? Bye. Well, see you in a second. Welcome back. This is the answers of the 4 you try problems. And again, this is practice when you do them all 4 of the operations together. It's try to get them to get everything in your head organized. It really is combining all of them and practicing. And it's a pattern thing. Once you start seeing the pattern, the more you do it, the more ingrained it gets. I don't even think about it. I just know it because I've done it so many times over the course of my life. Okay? Dividing integers, same rules apply. You're just dividing them now. So this tic-tac-toe board that we talked about before works here too. So positive, 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 negative, 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 negative. Works here too. So all you're doing is dividing this time. So 40 divided by 5 is 8, or you could always be like 5 times what number is 40? 5 times 8 is 40, and you have a positive and a negative, and if you look at the tic-tac-toe board, that means it's negative. 20 divided by 2 is 10, and a negative divided by a negative is positive, so that's your answer. 15 divided by 3 is 5, or 3 times 5 is 15. You have a negative and a positive. Negative and a positive, which is negative. 32 divided by 4. 4 times what is 32? That's 8. Negative and a negative. Negative and a negative is a positive. Okay, so that's all it is. Don't overthink it. You can always check your answers if you want. All right, just multiply these 2 numbers. Negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. You can always backtrack. This is negative 32. This is negative 15. This is 40. These 2 are negative 20. So you can check your work. Most things in math you can check it if you actually have sound reasoning. How about you do these 4 you try problems on your own, and I'll be back I'll complete them and you can just check your answer. Welcome back. These are the answers to the 4 problems. And just check to see if the signs matter. The numbers are not the only thing. If your signs are wrong, you're wrong. So just make sure when you're doing all this integer operations thing, you're like, oh, I'm close. It's not about just the number. You have to make sure that it's actually the positive or the negative part of it is right too. That's what the whole purpose is. So you have 2 more problems and we're done. Rita's family went hiking last week. They walked to the top of the waterfall and they walked to the top of the waterfall and then turned around to come back down. It took them 15 minutes to descend 600 feet in elevation at a steady pace. What integer represents their change in elevation? So let's write an expression right now that represents this. So it took them 15 minutes to descend 600 feet. What integer represents their change in elevation each minute? So you have negative 600 because descending means going down per 15 minutes. And your answer, you want to get it per minute. Per minute. Okay, so that means you're just dividing here. So this is going to be, 60 divided by 15 is 4. So it's just going to be negative 40 feet. What is it? Feet? Feet. This is feet. Feet per minute. An anchor was dropped in the ocean. It sank 60 feet below sea level. So 60 feet is negative. In 5 seconds. In 5 seconds. What integer represents the anchor's change in elevation per second? So negative 60 divided by 5 is negative 12 feet per second. And that's it. Hope this helped you with integer operations. Thanks for joining me. Bye.